Hello, good evening to all the participants, our speakers, and all the counselors of ASSET. Warm welcome to another webinar section. I myself is Deborah. I'm the education counselor in ASSET. This webinar section would be a 60-minute section in which we would be discussing on the emerging IT career options in Australia. Some of the key points that we would be discussing is based on the Australian education, the stages to success stories, and IT career options, and also different specialization that is coming under IT studies. And in the end, we will have a question answer section chat box, and all your questions would be answered. And if any of the questions that is unanswered because of the time constraint, you don't have to get worried about it. We'll take them offline and we'll make it a point that all your questions would be answered. Moving further, let me introduce ASSET and its global services. ASSET is actually mainly focusing and working on three main sectors, that is migration, education, and infotech. Actually, it's a great opportunity for us to talk about IT careers because we also work as an IT company. So that's a great honor. And just for your reference, ASSET is actually located in different parts of the world. We have our office in Australia, Darwin. We have it in Ontario province in Canada. We have it in India, that is in Cochin. And we have our office in UAE, that is in Dubai, and in UK. So we have two directors for ASSET. We have Sulal Mattai as the director, co-founder, career coach, and also a registered qualified education counselor. We have Matthews David, director, co-founder, and a registered migration agent. So I welcome Sulal and Matthews for this webinar section. Thank you so much. And our speaker for the day is Bala Murugan Ramalingam. Bala sir is actually one of the senior education counselor and a former regional staff marketing and in admissions. Bala sir has got over 15 years of experience in the field of overseas education and counseling. So welcome, Bala sir. Now I hand over the section to Sulal and Bala sir. Welcome, Sulal and Bala sir, for the section.
Thank you, Debbie. It's really a good thing to talk today, particularly, on one hand, we doing the IT software development, and it's really an exciting times in IT, particularly in Australia. So we are very happy to talk about IT education and career in Australia, or career opportunities in Australia. So we also just wanted to introduce Sai Arjun, one of the alumni who used our channel to study in Australia and now work as data analyst in Sydney, New South Wales. So he will be joining Bala later for the FAQ, and if you got any questions to ask him directly based on his experience of studying in Australia, he'll be more than happy to respond to any of your queries. So
thank you so much.
You're there, Sai. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just let me know, during FAQs or in between any of time that you want me to join. I will be able to. Thank you.
Absolutely, sure, will do. So without much further introductions, we will go directly to the topic, which is, emerging IT careers in Australia. What are the good courses in terms of bachelors and masters in IT for you to study? So I'll do a bit of talking in the beginning, and then I'll hand it over to Bala when we, have more serious discussions coming, as he is a very experienced person to talk about Australia education. So we basically want to talk about, the Australian education, the stages to success, what IT courses are available, in most of the main universities in Australia, post-study work visa options, what are the immigration options, just to give you some idea on the immigration aspect. And then, the floor is all for you. You can ask any questions you think which will be helpful if you're looking for studying in Australia. So there are some really good highlights for you to study in Australia if you are considering Australia as your study destination. One is the third most popular international student destination. It's currently home to more than 500,000 international students. So it's 700,000 students are studying in Australia. So it's you can see that it's really having a lot of international students. Australia has got 6 of the world's top 100 universities. So that's fantastic. Really good higher education system in the world. You might have seen a number of times also, like Melbourne, the best city to live in the world. Brisbane is another best city to live in the world. So almost 7 of the best student cities in the world are in Australia. So it really offers a multicultural, vibrant kind of environment, not just for work but also in terms of as a society. So being living in Australia for the last 6 years, I'm fortunate to enjoy that warmth and vibrancy, and I can based on my own experience, I can say that it's fantastic. So it's really good. It's a great opportunity to come here to study. Scholarships. So Australian government actually has invested over $300 million over a period of time, in terms of supporting international students. So we can discuss in length later about what are the different types of scholarships available from universities, from Destination Australia, a number of options in the scholarship space. And interestingly, you can also see the universities in Australia actually have produced like 15 Nobel laureates. So, that actually tells you the quality of education and also the kind of teachers or professors you can actually expect in Australian education system and in the universities. I'm sure, when you look at international education, we get a lot of information from everywhere, like information, it's like information is at your fingertips, but more or less there is like over information, on all of our fingertips, because as soon as you search one thing, Google will give you like so many ads and so on. So what we really wanted to tell you here is, if you are really looking at unbiased proof that what is the quality of Australian universities and why they are called as truly world class, then it may be a good thing to look at independent global rankings like Times Higher Education, QS, and Shanghai rankings, where you can actually see the Australian universities are always, consistently ranked in the world's top 100 universities. So it's just, to ensure that what you see in terms of the features or advantages of studying in a particular university are actually valid. So just to give a little bit brief on further on, what is the subclass, visa subclass, which is 500 for anyone who come to study in Australia, and what are some of the key features or or advantages of coming here when you come to study. So there are like 40 plus universities and thousands of colleges. In today's, when we are talking about bachelors and masters, we are mainly focused on the universities, university study in Australia. Undergraduate courses, there are some courses which are 3 years, and then there are some courses which are like 4-year courses, and postgraduate courses are 2-year duration. Average tuition fees, it varies based on university as well as based on there are different ranks, like like we said, there are top universities, and then there are some universities which may not be at the highest rank. So the fees of the universities varies, which could be anywhere from 25,000 to 45,000 on a year on average. And if you look at the average living expenses in Australia, that could come around 10,000 to 18,000 Australian dollars over per annum. Like we discussed about scholarship earlier, it is normally offered between 10 to 30% per annum. So it depends on which scholarship you're eligible based on your academics and so on. The percentage of scholarship offered by the university varies. Everybody wants to work when you come to study in Australia, be it Canada or anywhere. So one of those conditions what Australia has got is if you are coming here to study, 40 hours you can work fortnightly, and you can work full time during semester breaks. In fact, students who are studying in Australia now are actually having a really good time, because when COVID was really hard, and Australian employers were struggling to fill the work, fill the spots for the workers, the government actually have decided to waive off those 40 hours. So at the moment, any student who is in Australia can work up to like, there is no part-time job hours. It is full-time, like 40 hours per week. And I guess it is going to change in July. Is that right, Bala? Like, I think they have announced that it will change in July, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is basically till end of 2023. You're right.
Yeah.
It's formally announced. But yeah, it can get extended. That's what I was told, but you never know.
Yeah. So it's we shouldn't tell like everyone should work full time, but it's just
exactly. That's an opportunity. That's right.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity at the moment, for people to make a little more money, and
sure.
But at the same time, you have to balance your studies, because it's not easy otherwise. Yeah. The other good thing which actually has come recently is, previously it was 3 to 5 years, but a number of bachelors and master courses will have 4 to 5 years of post-study visa from this year. That courses have not been announced, but there will be a number of courses which will be considered for 4 to 5 years of post-study work visa, which is an excellent opportunity, because a lot of times students have a challenge to get into their own career in 2 years' time, which was, previously the post-study work visa for majority of the courses for 2 years. Getting 4 to 5 years is like, a great amount of time. It will really allow you to settle into your own career, which will help into the immigration. So it has got a huge benefit as a student, because there is ample time to prepare yourself to the career in Australia. And if you are looking for any information, with respect to visa, homeaffairs.gov.au, that's the authorized website where you can actually get all the information provided by Australian government. And if you're looking for particularly anything related to study in Australia, studyinaustralia.gov.au is also the website by Australian government for providing information to the students who are looking at international education or studying in Australia. So these are, the really good reference websites where you can actually get the right information. And, most of the time when you search, these websites may not come on the top, because, a lot of sponsored ad always brings up other results. But if you make a note of these websites, this will really help to get you the right information. So we'll come to so what we earlier said is the generic why study Australia, but now we wanted to share the good news of why study IT in Australia. Which the first thing is, there are ample opportunities for students after graduating from IT courses. Being in IT industry in Australia myself, I can vouch that it is true. And you can also see the Australian government in 2022, they've actually launched, positioning Australia as a leading digital economy and society. So that's the Vision 2030. And based on this vision, you can actually go to the digitaleconomy.pmc.gov.au, which is the website by Australian government, and PMC is Prime Minister and Cabinet. So it's a website from the Prime Minister's office. When you go to this website, you can actually see all the details and, which are the target sectors, what are the kinds of opportunities available in the coming, in the next 7 years. And you can also see here, like we mentioned, there will be about 1.2 million tech workers needed in Australia by 2030, which is actually a report from Tech Council of Australia. And the interesting fact is, there is not even half of this population is actually available in Australia at the moment, who are studying IT from within Australia. So that means, more than 500,000 working workers will be needed, and they will be needed from overseas. So that could come from people who are going to come to study in Australia, or people who will migrate a skilled migrant from IT professions. So, it's a huge number. And if anyone who is reasonably smart who are coming to study in Australia will be able to have a good career after the study in Australia. The other things are just basics, the lectures and professors are highly skilled. We use like high quality technology. It's all state of the art. And at the end, if you think when you came here to study and you wanted to go back, you still have a valid degree from Australia, which is recognized across the world. So, you go to any other country, you still have an Australian qualification, which is highly regarded. So these are the courses which mainly in masters, bachelors, and masters. So I'm not reading all of it, but I can say some of it which are really standing out is data science, cybersecurity, business analytics, cloud computing, information technology management, and network systems. In fact, even some time ago, we didn't even thought of games, as a career opportunity, but you can see that even games development is a big career opportunity now in across the world, and particularly in Australia as well. And Bala, do you want to add anything here, talking about the courses?
Well, I mean, as you said, there are few courses here, not few, I would say a ample number of courses here. But as on date, in the market is very much, demand would be like same like our alumni, whatever, a business analyst program, which is relevant to business analyst, and courses which is relevant to, data scientist. So basically it's data science or big data, machine learning. These are the courses. And of course, cybersecurity. These are on the top 3 notch, followed by then again, you have artificial intelligence and other programs, network engineering and everything.
Thank you. So that's great. And obviously you also like to know, when we talk about these other courses, you also wanted to know what are the career opportunities that are awaited after completing these courses. So these are some of the opportunities we can see where organizations are recruiting heavily on in Australia. So analyst, programmer, information officer, network and systems engineer, developer, programmers, ICT analyst, ICT security specialist, multimedia specialist, application programmers, software engineers, and system analyst. We can also say that a lot of employers are now, particularly in the IT sector, because we also are a migration firm, we also work with employers on employer sponsored visas. So we can see that any employer who employs more than 300 people in Australia, and if they are an IT company, they are all open to embracing diversity and take anybody who has got a skill set. So based on our experience, there is no differentiation if you are a student and you are a fresher. If you're reasonably smart, like I said earlier, opportunities just for you. There is no longer any kind of discrimination, nothing, because the amount of talent required is much more than what is actually there in the market. So there is significantly a demand versus supply difference. So which is fantastic. Anyone who wants to who comes and study or migrate, they are all going to get a really good career opportunity in Australia. So this is what we do in terms of providing our service to students. We provide the counseling in the earlier stage to make sure that you actually selecting the right courses, and also in terms of about your finances, the place you decide to study. We'll provide all that information to make sure that you made the right choice in terms of your study pathway. And once that is done, we will also help you, our experienced counselors, and as well as we are here in Australia as well. We do have an office here and we live here, so we do provide a lot of support after you come here. But at the same time, in the beginning, when you need support in the admission process, Bala will guide with any kind of questions you need answer, and our counselors will help you in terms of all the documentation process. And we'll also support all our students to ensure that the financial documents are all good, and also giving advance information on what you need to prepare. That way you don't miss what was required. So we'll ensure that we'll give you the checklist. That way you have got all the data or the information on hand, and we help you with the visa process as well. So that's a rough brief on studying IT in Australia. And obviously, before we give open floor for questions, we know that there are a lot of frequently asked questions. So I will hand it over to Bala to respond to some of these questions. And meantime, if you have any questions, please you can chat in the chat box, or you can ask after Bala talk about these frequently asked questions.
Thank you, Sulal. Thanks for that elaborate presentation about the IT sector and the courses and the opportunity. I'm pretty sure this is going to be very useful to a lot of spectators and the clients. Now, talking about FAQ, this is very common regardless of whatever the course we study, in overseas or any country for the matter of fact, and especially when it comes to a country like Australia. Can I migrate? Even if you are an IT graduate with some experience back in hometown, always you wanted to know, is it possible for you to migrate, or can you go and work in another country, especially like Australia or any other English-speaking country? Now, with the current scenario, like you said earlier, yes, Australia is open, very much and welcoming all the students, especially with the student visa. And that will give you an opportunity definitely to migrate, which is going to be more easier, considering, the work experience and the local culture and the system of education and everything. So this is a good opportunity for anyone to go as a student and then migrate. Yes, it is possible. And of course, you also have students sometimes, during this COVID, either lost their job or probably they been asked to sit at home for a while. Sometimes the company is closed with a startup company. These are the gap they do have during this period, and want to know, is it possible? Can we still go ahead with those gaps? Yes, it is possible, provided if they have the proper genuine reason, which can be explained through the statement of purpose at the time of admission. And same thing has to be mentioned at the time of visa lodgement as well. So, in their SOP. So that will not hamper their, chances. So I would say, yes, it is still possible, unless if the gap is like, way beyond 3-5 years or whatever, which is impossible. Because we need to prove, you can't sit ideally at home for 3-5 years and then apply for something else. Especially for a country like Australia, they will have questions. Anything beyond 6 months will be questioned. And next question would be, normally do they ask is, what do include in this? I mean, a statement of purpose is all about talking about yourself, right from the childhood and your future plans. Normally we do have, points which we will share with you on how to go ahead and prepare those SOPs. But then again, if you ask me in a nutshell, in brief, introduce yourself, talking about your studies, your work experience if you have, and then family, parents, occupation or whatever, and then their annual income and who's going to sponsor and what form you're going to get your sponsorship, which is very common. Followed by, you can also talk about why do you want to get into overseas, not in general about the country, about overseas and why not in India and everything. And then the next para could be basically why Australia and why not India. And when you do that, particular para, it's make sure that you always compare among other countries as well. Because sometimes case officer and as well as the admissions staff like to know, have you done your research? before opting Australia. Because unless if you have a family, then of course you have a straightforward answer to say that I have a family who's said I'm coming there. But then again, there are people who are coming for the first time, doesn't know what is overseas means, and let's say go out and study. For them, I would say always compare yourself between US, UK, whatever the country you had in your mind, and then give a reason why Australia could be better for your option. Then again, why not India? Obviously, it's very common reasons to say why not India, because you know how the quota system works in India, the competitive exams, number of seats, and again, in top-notch colleges, the fees is also very high. I'm talking about private colleges like ISB. If you go there, you have to spend at least 35 to 40 lakhs minimum for a 1.5 year program. So you would rather spend that money in Australia and get a global exposure and some kind of experience. So these are the points normally to say why not India. And again, the system of education. Unless if you're in IIM and IIT, it's very theoretical everywhere. We don't work very closely with industry. That could be another reason to say why not India. And then you talk about the university where you're going for. And that university, you have to compare 3 other universities in Australia where you had an offer. And you can say why you choose particular university or A university on over B and C. And then again, why that particular course. Talk about few subjects or units from the course. How does it going to help you in the future or in your career or in the skills? Mention that. And finally, on your return to home country, your future ambition and goals. When you come back, what kind of opportunity exists in your country, or what companies, we can, if being an IT, we can always talk about right from Infosys to Wipro to, CTS to Tata, you can name it. There are so many companies. And of course, position, again, it varies according to your studies. And an annual package, they always wanted to understand, do you get a very good annual package? Yes. Coming from overseas with a very good qualification with a couple of years experience minimum, I'm pretty sure you will be able to earn minimum of 60 to 70,000 per month, which is roughly 8 to 10 lakhs per annum minimum. So obviously you can mention that as well. And also in the final paragraph, they want to know what kind of ties you have to return to the country. So obviously there are 2 ties. One is the economic ties. The other one is family ties. So always talk about your family, like your parents, how they are old age people, they have to come back, and being a person, what is your responsibility, in general, to come and take care of them and your wealth and all those stuff. And financial ties or economic ties is basically what kind of wealth you have. Right from the mobile and immobile assets, everything should be mentioned. And that can be given as a proof along with your SOP in a format called wealth certificate given by the chartered accountant. We can share the sample of that as well, so that it makes your life easier to get those certificates from your chartered account with your own wealth details. So this is how a statement of purpose is always prepared. And processing time, of course, so Lal and Matthew could be the best person to talk about all this. And especially if you ask me about the student, it varies according to the university and the intake and the time of lodgement. If you lodge your file in the last moment, it may take more. And if you lodge earlier, it may come quicker. You never know. So again, it's all varies between minimum of 2 weeks and maximum of 8 weeks on an average. This is what for processing time when it comes to student visa. Normally, the other question is, why do I need to show strong ties back home? Of course, I've been telling you, the reason you have to show strong ties back home or financial or economic ties, it says that how genuine you are to come back. You have a reason to return, not really to be there or show themselves as a prospective migrant very bluntly. So your next question might be, going in your mind, then why we all go there? Can't I apply? There are so many people settled down. Yes, you can legally, which is true, but you don't have to be blunt on saying that, okay, I'm studying, I'm going to come and settle down there. This is not the way we say in the SOP. They don't want to hear that, though we are going to do the same. But it's always to prove that you are a genuine student, which is called genuine temporary entrant requirement. So otherwise, it will be refused under this clause. Should I go for a year or two? See, Australia offers from 1 year to 2 year program. It's all up to us what we want to study. But considering most of us consider our plans like working there for a while or settling. These are the options you always keep in our mind. So considering those options, I always suggest please go for a 2 year program. There's no way you can think of anything lesser than that, unless otherwise, if you have strong reasons to say, look, I'm going to get a degree for a year or so and then come back to my country or go back to somewhere I want to work, then it's fine with you. Otherwise, it's advisable to go for a 2 year program, which will help you in terms of post-study work visa as well as permanent resident in the future. Plus, the funding, what you're going to show, whether it's 1 year or 2 year, it's all remains the same. So I myself will go for 2 year and then decide whether I want to study 1 year or 2 year once I land in Australia. So I suggest everyone to go for a 2 year course. If I come to study, will I get my PR? That is a big question mark. That's why Matthew and Sulal are there to assist you guys. Then again, initially at the time of counseling, always make sure you choose the right course with the right, skill which is going to match your past studies as well as a work experience. By doing that, 75 to 80% of our clients, yes, they are success in getting the PR, unless otherwise, if you happen to fail or haven't done the right thing, like language and experience and everything, yes, that could hamper your chances. But then again, if you do the right thing and if you are the right person, yes, you are with us. So hopefully everything will go fine for you guys. I guess these are the very common questions and the answers which I gave.
Thank you, Bala. That's really helpful. And I think Debbie might have some questions from participants.
Sure.
Yes. So now it's actually the question answer section. So if anyone is having any questions, you can just drop in the chat box. So if anyone is having any questions regarding anything, regarding your profile, your gap acceptance, regarding the course options, yes.
And Bala, I just wanted to also, I think Danish has got a question, and I also want to remind, Sai is also on the call.
Yes. If any particular question towards, a practical experience in the reality of life, we also have our own alumni who is there to help you. You can talk about right from a student experience to currently working as an employee and about to get his PR in the future. So probably you can talk to him as well. He can share his, journey, whatever experience. Yes.
Thanks, Bala. Danish, you can ask the question. Your mic is on mute.
Hi.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As I completed my senior secondary in 2020 with 82% in commerce stream.
Okay.
Now I am working as an accountant in Delhi in Nirmal Sand and Infra Private Limited company from last 1 year, and now I want to do my further study in Australia, Darwin. So can I apply for this course BSc IT?
No. Now you don't have to go for BSc IT, Danish. If you studied already a bachelor's degree, you can always go for Master of Information Technology, which is always for non-IT background students.
Sir, please repeat it.
Okay. Sir, you said you already completed your bachelor's degree with 82%. Am I right?
No, sir. I completed my senior secondary.
Oh, you're that means 12th standard.
Yes, 12th standard in 2020.
Okay, 2020, 12th standard. Okay, and you are and what board is that?
Punjab Board Education Board.
And then you've been working experience as an accountant.
Yes, from last 1 year, I am working as an accountant in Delhi.
And let me be very honest, Danish. Unfortunately, Punjab board are not accepted in by many universities.
Okay.
And moreover, you have a gap of 2 years now. Though you have a relevant, documentation saying that you're working there, which is, I agree. But unfortunately, immigration doesn't in that angle, as well as the admission process. I can suggest you, for one more option. What I will say is, we have option of going and studying in one of the country like Singapore, Malaysia, or Dubai.
I only want to study in Australia, Darwin, because one of my parental brother also there.
Okay, I understand, but I'll tell you what I want to. I'm telling you how you can go to Australia. Now, say for example, if you're going to Dubai, you can study for 1 year and go for remaining 2 years to Australia.
Okay.
That is one option. Okay. For example, no, I don't want to go like that. I want to go straight to Australia from India. Then I would suggest you, please do a bachelor's degree ASAP in India. You can do BSc IT or BCA, anything, and then you can go for master's degree. At least you have work experience for those gap. But at that time, they won't look into your Punjab board because it will be always what you studied, the last qualification.
Okay, sir.
Yes, that's the only option you have, Danish. Really sorry. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Danish.
Thank you, Danish. We have another question by Anu. Anu is asking, like, what are the master options after ACCA? She has completed ACCA, so she wants to know about the master options after ACCA.
So, Anu completed her ACCA, which is after year 12, if I'm not wrong. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, depends upon how many module or units she completed in ACCA. I'm not sure. I have to find out that. Based on that, either she can go for bachelor's or she can go for master's. Okay. Now, if she has completed the maximum number of modules, then we can try. But I also wanted to understand, was she working while she was doing ACCA?
Okay.
Sir, I already completed my bachelor's.
Okay, you already completed your bachelor's. What was your bachelor's, Anu?
It's BCom.
BCom, and also you did ACCA.
Yeah, I have like 2 more papers left in ACCA.
Okay. Now, if you're planning to go to Australia, the next program I would suggest, or you can always have in your mind, one is Master of Professional Accounting. Okay, that's a straightforward.
Okay.
The other program is Finance.
Okay.
And third program is Business Analytics.
Okay, so I'm looking for something like for 1 year master's course because I already did ACC and that's completely like finance. So like something which is different from finance.
Different from finance. Now, see, with the current technology and everything, a lot of students tend to go for business analytics. Okay. Now, if you're happy to do that, it's fine. One is that option, which is technology oriented. A lot of students opt that one. Second thing is, if you're going for 1 year program, Anu, I'm not sure whether you're aware of that. You won't be able to get work visa. Is that okay with you?
Okay. Is it for like all the universities or?
It's Australia, not about universities. It is Australia. We are talking about Australia. For Australia, a minimum you have to study is 2 year course.
Okay.
If you do 1 year program, I mean, see, there are ifs and buts, but I don't want you to go for those chances because the visa will be very, very narrow, and then you have to apply for assessment and all those things. I mean, if you can talk more on immigration, probably Solal or Matthew can tell you about how it works. But then again, personally, if you ask me, it has to be 2 year program. That's why I told you initially at the time of your FAQ.
Okay, so thank you.
Thank you, Anu. Thank you.
Thank you, Anu. So if anyone else is having any questions.
Thanks, Debbie. I think, since Sai is here, we can probably ask him few things. It'll be great to hear from him about, how did he find his studying in Australia, and then how that really helped him when he's now working.
Sai, you can share your travel. You can share your journey as well.
Yeah. So, am I audible?
Yes,
you are.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi everyone. So, I started my journey to Australia in the year of 2016, but there was some issues in terms of loans and other processes. But Bala sir helped me on the right time, and I was able to get to an admission in the year 2017. I came here to do my master's in IT in terms of in the field of data analytics. But I was working as an analyst back in India in Accenture. Um, so the journey was quite different from my end because I came in the year of 2017, and I completed my masters. And as soon as I completed here my masters, I went and grabbed a job as quickly as possible, because what I find is most of the international students, as soon as they complete the masters, because when you come here to study, the first intention for you will be most likely, I have to come here, do studies, also get a part-time job to meet the end needs. But I was also doing my end needs. But as soon as I completed my master's, I took a break from part-time jobs and everything, just focused on getting a job onto professional field, and got a professional job in Melbourne. At that time, I also completed whatever is required for my permanent residency in terms of completing your professional year, finishing exams like MATI. But I took some time to complete my PT exam. So what I would recommend for most of the students who come to Australia and who wants to permanently migrate to Australia is to finish your basic requirements like professional year, MATI, and PT on time. Also secure a job, because these things will help you on a longer run in terms of getting a job. That's one. But here, when you look at the job opportunities in IT, especially field of masters like business analytics or data analytics, whichever field you do, it is very welcoming. The reason is here there is there is a big need of people who do software engineering, business analytics, and data analytics, as this Australia as such is more of engineering IT oriented, and it is developing in a fast paced manner, which was said by the host in the start. And when you come here, choose a right course, and also ensure that when you are studying, do some certifications in that extra. That will help you to gain a job, because when I attended an interview, than my masters, they also looked at, okay, you have done masters, but have you done some certifications? For example, you can do a DBA certification, or some programming certifications, or some AWS certifications. So that will help you when you are choosing career in IT. And when you are focusing on jobs, prepare your resume well. Apart from your final year project, ensure that you do a couple of more projects. And when you are going for a job interview, ensure that the 2 years when you study here, especially, you go and meet along with people who are in local, so that you know their culture, you know the language easily, and you are able to answer certain questions as a local person itself. So these are my key tips when you come here and get your master's degree. And as soon as you get your first job here in Australia, it's like you put your efforts, get your first job. That's the only thing that you have to go through certain process. But if you are focused and if you're involved, you will get that easily. And as soon as you get your first job, it is easy to switch over to second job and third job with high level pay. When I was working in Melbourne, it was difficult for me to get a first job. But when I moved to Sydney, when I was applying for other jobs, I was able to get at least 5 or 6 job applications. Yeah, and I was able to choose between 5 to 6 interviews which one to go next, based on the pay and everything. And your pay also is like let's say you get a pay of initial $60,000, you can go to a job which is of $90,000 or $100,000 with the present market scenario. So that's the only point that I can also give. So if you are planning for your masters, do whatever is required for masters. But as soon as you come here, ensure that you are focused. Don't mix up your part-time jobs with your professional career, because Part-time is just to do your sustenance, you are able to sustain for the 2 years for your living and other expenses. But apart from that, your professional career is more important. So for that, you need to do extra work in terms of doing certifications. But if you ask me a question that, is masters easy? Yes, definitely easy. People who come from India gain more CGPA because here it's more of assignments and more of projects that you get involved and work with your professors. So if you're focused, you can clear it.
Sola, do you have any questions for Sai?
No, there is some other questions, but Sai, that is really great to hear. And being in Australia, I completely get that. The salaries have gone really high, and it's really not at all difficult now to get $100,000 jobs. In IT. So great to hear about your experience and how you navigated, the challenges and reached where you are now. So thank you so much for sharing your personal journey.
So yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Bala, we have a question from Piju. He's asking about what is the next thing we need to do after the conditional offer, and what is the final kind of amount required to shown in the accounts.
Okay. Now, depends upon what condition he has in the offer letter. If the condition is only GTE, then he needs to prepare all the financial documents, submit to the university, get the approval before paying the fees. If the condition is something like IELTS or completion of course or something, then obviously he needs to act on that. Simultaneously, he can also prepare the financial documents. So I would like to know what are the conditions he has in his offer letter.
Good evening. This is Biju. I'm talking on
Biju.
behalf of Jilin Stephen Biju. Yeah, his condition was IELTS and OTE. Yeah, right.
GT. Yeah. Okay.
GT.
Yeah. Kind of IELTS. Okay. And what course and which? What course is he going for?
He's going for that computer science advanced.
Okay. Bachelors.
Yes.
And that will be in February.
Correct.
To Darwin?
No, Adelaide.
Adelaide, Jilu.
Jilin.
Jilin. Sorry, Jilin. I'm sorry, sir. Jilin. Okay. Now, has he got his exemption?
Exemption means I did not get you.
Okay. Once you got the offer letter, normally it will say how many years you have to study the remaining course, the bachelor's.
Two
as
years.
You mentioned. You mentioned 2 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the next stage is all he has to do is clear the IELTS. Of course, he's going to do that. In terms of funding, sir, what will be the annual income, sir? Your annual income, approximately?
I have a good income.
Approximately 10 and above?
I'm working as a GM in a in a pharmaceutical company.
Okay, very good. Now, are we going to show self-funding? Are we going for an education loan?
As of now, self-funding is also possible, but I'm still going for an education loan.
Okay. Now, what I personally suggest is go for education loan as you decided, but we can use the self-funding in order to apply for pay the fees and get the GT approval and lodge the visa without any delay.
Okay.
That can be also done.
Okay.
So the total funding, what you have to show for visa is roughly around 36 lakhs.
Yeah, he has a 30%.
That is for you. That is for you to pay the fees less 30% and you pay. But when it comes to visa, they calculate as per the full tuition fee.
Okay. So 36 lakhs we need to show. Okay.
That's for the visa purpose. Yes, we show. It could be in the form of loan. It could be in the form of savings, fixed deposit, whatever we want
to. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So after that only this GTE will come?
No, yeah. I have to submit all the documents. Okay, we need to submit all the documents to the university. Okay, and then they will call him for an interview by looking at the documents, and then they will approve on the basis of interview.
Actually, he's ready for his exams of IELTS, but his FAT exam is scheduled between next month, between some 6 to 18. So
okay,
the speaking will be between some 10 days here and there. That's what they are telling. So he's not taking the exam dates.
I want him to finish his IELTS exam maximum by end of October. Okay.
Okay. Then that's fine. 20th, we are actually looking for 24, I think. Yeah, this exam.
Super. Once he finished this, once he get the result, and by the time simultaneously you can prepare the financial documents, we can talk this later on, externally later about how the funds has to be or how the document has to be. After IELTS, we can send the IELTS result along with the financial documents to the university, then finish the interview, and then we can launch the visa by second week or third week of November.
Okay, fine.
His visa should come before Christmas, and then he can, if you want to leave, you can leave early, or you can be here and then leave whenever you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Do you have any questions, sir?
We have another question.
Yeah, Debbie.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So we have another question by Varghese Matthew for his son, Agustin. For Agustin, they're looking for options regarding supply chain and logistics. So, what are the possibilities for supply chain and logistics, the job, the part-time availability, etc.?
Is he looking for master's level or bachelor's level?
Yeah, that's actually not mentioned here. Is it for bachelor's or master's? Could you please mention it?
Hello, it's for, he has just completed the bachelor's, like BCom. So
okay,
from India, Kerala only.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, and when did he graduated, sir?
This year, just now, he has completed.
2022. Okay.
Yeah, 2022.
I assume that he got more than 60%.
Yeah, he got a distinction, 80% mark. Yeah.
Super. Okay. Any particular reason why does he wants to do supply chain?
He has checked with him. He has found interest, he's much more compatible or with this supply chain and logistics voice on a job voice or something, like he showed more interest on that particular subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your intention is to go study and come back, right?
Study and definitely go for a job market availing job also. That's the one.
Okay. The reason I'm asking you all this, sir, now it's all depends upon the skills which is demanded by the Australian government. Okay.
Okay.
Now, as on date, and for supply chain, they do have a demand, but not at the lower level. It is at the managerial level. So for your son Agustin to basically go at managerial level, it will take minimum of 3 to 4 years after the graduation. So most of the time, the master's degree is 2 years. And then you get roughly 4 to 5 years of work experience. Work visa.
All right.
During that time, if you can manage to get 3 years of work in the same industry, which will happen for sure, and then only you will be able to apply for a migration visa. Till then, he needs to be in a work visa, and that could be if and but, because it depends upon at that time the skills and demand and what is the process and all those things. So this is basically what will be his journey like. And the worst scenario could be you can work for 5 years in the same position, earn some money, come back, and probably you can work in Dubai or anywhere in Middle East or Singapore or something.
Got it. That's right.
If he wants to continue to live in Australia, there are 2 options. One is an employer can sponsor him, which Sulal or Matthew can say about a 491 visa. Otherwise, he needs to do something simultaneously while he's working to match the skill in Australia. For example, having BCom studying this supply chain, he can do 3 to 5 subjects in order to become an accountant skill. He doesn't have to work as an accountant, but to nominate himself as an accountant, he needs to do those subjects while he's working. So I wouldn't rule out it is not possible. Yes, it is possible, but he needs to put that extra bit in order to settle down in the future.
Any other options available, sir? Like anything else that he can, other than the supply chain one?
See, supply chain is an amazing subject. Okay, if he likes about it, please ask him to go for it. Jobs are highly demand. All our students is working in the same profession only. Then they never had issues of job or salary or anything. It is, I am talking about in a longer run as a PR, permanent resident after a year, work for a year and so on. That time, he may have to do some extra bit, which is 3 to 5 subjects, probably during working, he can do by correspondence. Otherwise, the straightforward PR would be studying Master of Professional Accounting.
Okay.
You may want to check with him whether he's keen on doing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just again refer with him like on the options. Yeah.
Yes. Sometimes you can do professional accounting with marketing or accounting with finance, something like that. And you can also do professional accounting, get your PR and do a certificate course for logistics and work in the same industry.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. Okay. Right.
That is also possible. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Varun.
sir.
Yeah, we can actually, Debbie can get in touch with you and definitely get you more details.
We can yes.
Review your son's profile, which will actually help. And also, if needed, we can also talk to him, because once we definitely don't want to push someone to do something which,
not interested.
They like. Yeah, so they should do what they like. At the same time, we can also look at the options which actually helps them to, look from a
longer run.
Yeah, from a migration perspective, that way you got all the information on hand to make the right decision.
Noted, sir. Noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There be any other questions?
So there are no more questions.
Yep. So that's no problem. So if anyone else has got any other questions, please reach us out to Debbie. She's
Debbie, would you like to ask any question to our alumni so that you can share with your students in the future?
Yeah, so is Sai still there?
He is there.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So as a counselor, I have a couple of questions. Like many of the students ask me a couple of questions regarding the part-time availability, like the part-time job availability, how much they can earn. Are they possible to pay their tuition fees by themselves? So these are the questions that I come across from students.
Okay, so you are asking the right question to a right person in this sense.
Yeah.
Because the reason is I did part-time from the first week as soon as I landed in Australia. And because once again I have to be thankful to Bala. So the reason is the amount of alumni connection that he had helped me to get involved with those alumni who were studying at the time when I landed in Australia, and I got a part-time. I was working in a fuel station initially, but here for you I can explain two things in terms of part-time. So myself, I worked in a 7-Eleven as a fuel station, and I went on to work in Woolworths and other non-IT related, related part-times. But I had a close friend of mine who, as soon as he landed after 6 months, when I was studying, he got into a part-time which was professional. And that helped him to gain experience while he was studying in Australia itself. But if you, to answer your question, yes, you can earn money and also pay your fees. For example, my tuition fees when I was studying in Australia was around 27 lakhs. I did my master in IT in Swinburne University, but when I was studying, my tuition fees were around 27 lakhs as a loan that I had to take. But I only took 21 lakhs as a loan, and the 7 lakhs of rupees I paid through my part-time savings. So yes, you can, pay your fees through part-time as well. And, I paid that fees within 1 year. So, I was able to further take less loan, less interest, and I was able to complete my loan within the next couple of years itself. So yes, part-time definitely helps you to pay your loan, but I would recommend students not to, give more importance to part-time and waste your time in Australia, like, just doing part-time and not focusing on studies. That's the second point that I would like to make. Also, per week, you can earn around $400 to $500 solid. And for your information, if you are coming to Australia in the next term, till June 2023, you can work full time, even if you are a student. So that's an advantage that the government has given due to the COVID crisis. So you can make the utilize of that particular part as well. And most likely that might also get extended to next year end, but this is not officially informed. But there are sources that's stating, you can work up to 40 hours. So per week, you can earn around $600 to $800 solid if you're doing part time. So that can definitely meet your end needs because you are earning around, minimum of $2,000 to $3,000 per month in part time itself, which is a very good pay.
Okay.
Got it,
Did I
Debbie?
answer that question?
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Any other questions for you?
Also, Debbie, I would recommend, as soon as the student comes, when you are counseling, you can also suggest them to get a part-time job in their own field. For example, as I said, mentioned about my friend's example, as soon as you come here, if you have work experience, or even if you don't have work experience back in your hometown, doesn't matter. If you have a good resume and you have good skill set, keep applying. That doesn't matter. You keep applying, and if you get an interview call, you go and attend it. At least, even if you don't get into through that interview, it's a learning experience, right? Because there are many companies that give importance to part-time part-time work, so that you are just working 20 hours for that company, and the company is also getting benefit out of it. Plus, than money, you're getting professional experience itself. So target such jobs where you can get your professional, job as a part-time itself when you're studying. That's an added advantage because as soon as you complete your master's for 2 years, you already have 2 years of work experience in your own field. That also helps in your assessment when you're going for your permanent residency. So 1 year work in Australia is a 5 points equivalent when you're applying for your permanent residency. So just imagine you worked for 2 years in Australia as a student in your own field, 20 hours per week. Then extra 1 year, as soon as you finish your studies, you're going for a full-time job. So you're having 3 years of work experience when you're in Australia itself. So 3 years of work experience will give you another 5 more points, which is 10 points. So it's like, blessings in disguise, you get it. For sure.
I know Sulal basically will be able to tell you more about these, the points for the work experience, or you can talk to Matthew also, in fact, that will help. But like Sai said, you should be smart enough to get the job in your same profession, considering the long-term plans.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, so Danish has one more question. So can you please ask your question quickly?
Yes, Danish.
Hello. Bala sir, as you told me regarding study visa of Singapore. So let me know what's the procedure of Singapore.
Okay. Tell me, please. Tell me.
As how much money I required for showing in funds as my parental cousin brother.
For Singapore, you don't require to show funds and all. It's just the fees. You have to get the admission. Of course, IELTS is mandatory, 6.5, no band less than 6, or PTE, overall 60, every band 50. Okay?
Okay, sir.
And then you apply for admission. Once you get the admission, you pay the fees and the university will apply visa for you. So everything will be done by them.
So which courses can I take for 1 year?
Bachelor of Commerce or Bachelor of Business in Accounting. You said you want to do IT, right?
Yes, I want to do BSc IT.
Then you can go for Bachelor of Information Technology.
But I want to after that go to Australia for study.
That's what. You have to study Bachelor of Information Technology for 1 year, and then remaining 2 years you can go there.
Okay.
Yes.
So how much time the process will take when we submit our fee?
Okay, for an offer letter, it takes roughly around 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, and once you get the offer letter, the basic documents for finance we have to submit is your IT returns to say that you have enough income. That's all. You don't have to show any funds, but you have to prove that how you are going to pay your fees and everything. Then it take another probably you pay the fees, and then it takes 1 month to 5 weeks, roughly 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. Okay.
Maximum.
So
maximum.
So how much money I have to pay for this course for 1 year?
It depends upon the semester. You normally pay every semester, so you roughly pay around 5 to 6 lakhs for the first semester. It's a tri-semester. You have 3 semesters in a year.
Okay, 5 to 6 lakh
approximately
per semester.
Per semester, yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and other thing is, if you're planning to go to Malaysia, it can be cheaper.
How much expenditure of it?
Okay, Malaysia, it will be again Australian University, Swinburne University of Technology. Malaysia has for 1 year, including living expense, you pay only 7 to 7.5 lakhs.
7 to 7.5 lakhs. Okay.
First year, and the remaining 2 years you can go to Melbourne and study in the same university.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, sir. As I already got 60 bands overall, not less than in reading 52.
All above 50 and overall 60. Correct.
Overall 60, not less than 52.
Should not be a problem for admission. Perfect.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Debbie can get in touch with you and set up a time with Bala to talk you through a session, and then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danish.
Thank you, Bala. I really appreciate your time to talk through all the questions, and thank you, Debbie, for.
Thanks, Sai. Thank you.
And thank you, Sai, for joining.
Thank you.
Very valuable inputs.
Yeah, thanks.
And thank you to all our participants. You all have a good day.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend, Sulal. Thank you. Take care. Thanks, Debbie. Thank you. Bye-bye.